All right, so we are back here on Drum Key, and Rick Hamilton is sitting next to me. I am very excited for you to be here.
I'm very excited to be here. I think this is an awesome show, Adam. I have seen them.
Awesome.
I stay up late and watch these, and I'm totally entertained. I think it's the greatest idea. So good job.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the feedback. Yeah. This idea started with you. I don't know if you realize this or not, but
it's drum shop talk.
It is. That's what we do.
I was just watching you guys do this first segment, and I could barely contain myself because I like to get into these conversations, and I couldn't be in there. But man, that's what we do here, right? That's what you do at drum shops. You talk, and all the drummers talk, and that's why it's cool to be in a drum shop. You can't get any of that stuff online,
Exactly. Yeah, you need to show up to the drum shop, see the same familiar faces there. It's such a vibe.
It's a vibe.
It is a vibe, and you can't replicate that digitally. I've tried to do Zoom calls and different things like it doesn't work.
And you know what's cool too is that it's a drummer thing. I mean, guitar players, maybe they share some of that, but a lot of those guys, are afraid to share their secrets and everything. Drummers are totally out with everything. They're passionate. They share stories and all. Like, can you imagine going into a trumpet store and trumpet players standing around going, yeah, man, this about that trumpet and this trumpet.
I was waiting for you to bust out trumpet facts. I was like, oh yeah, this about this. I love it. Yeah. But you're right. You're right.
You will never see that because they have nothing to talk about. But man, you get a drummer, two drummers, or three or four drummers together, and it's just like it can go on for hours. And that's how you can have this show.
That's it.
And it's excellent. I'm glad to be here. Drum key. Place to be. So cool.
Whoa, there's a slogan.
All right, I know
Drum key, the place to be. Wow, rhymes and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a bunch of questions for you.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And I can't wait to dig in.
All right.
But just wanted to take a moment to first off thank you. I took over the reins from you and was able to really skyrocket this based off of an incredible this much of the mountain was built and I'm up here, starting with unbelievable foundation, 35 years in Lancaster County. It's truly an honor, and you're a role model for me. So I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you still being. I'm so glad that you still teach here, and you're not out of it. Of course, you would never be out of it. But
I'm so
love
glad I'm teaching here too because, after doing that for 36 years, coming to work every single day and worrying about all this and that, not having to just go away and being able to still come in and see Sean, that alone, that would, I don't want all my friends here and everything, it's like a family.
Yeah.
And it was nice to be able to kind of come in and I think I've been very good. Now, we've never talked about this, and it's a great time to talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Imagine doing a job for 36 years in which most of the responsibility falls on you.
Yeah.
And then one day it's done, and then you go into the job and someone else is running the show. Now, do you know how hard it is to keep your mouth shut? And how good have I done?
He's done incredibly well, folks.
Pretty good.
He's done incredibly well.
Pretty good.
He has.
I don't say, a lot. And not that there is a lot to say. I'm just saying,
I understand, of course.
It's just
every little detail when you're used to managing a store and you're in that place where you used to have a different role, it's got to be bizarre. And incredible.
Yeah, just patting myself on the back.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And you're getting me to publicly admit it,
A couple of things I want to talk to you about, though.
Now that I have you in front of an audience, let's dive into this.
Just kidding.
No.
You're doing a great job. And
thank you.
I'm very. Yeah. And it was time. I need to step down because, man, you have a lot of great new ideas, and including this one. And it's a fresh set of eyes, and it's good.
Yeah. Well, I love having you around because I just went to you yesterday with, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. You're the only one who can get it because you've done exactly what I'm doing, and I love having you as a resource to tap into and to talk to about, through ideas with.
Misery loves company.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right. I love being able to complain to Rick because he gets it. No, but let's talk about the beginning. Right. Let's start at the beginning. And Sean's right. The beginning is not the first drums, etc. The beginning is before the first drums, etc.
Okay, let me set it up.
Go ahead. Take it away.
I was a music store rat. Back in the day, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and other communities around the United States, we had I counted them up one day, 12 or 15 music stores in Little Lancaster, all right? Can you imagine that? 12 or 15 music stores. And my thing was to go to those music stores and hang out. That's what my friend and I would do. When I got to be around 15 and my friend was 16 and he had a license, we would be at my house and we'd say, what do you want to do? Let's go to the music stores. Okay. So we had... real quick, we had 3 Don Randall's music stores, 2 malls, a downtown store. We had Mariani's. We had the Music Center. We had Stephen Nicholas. We had Manor Music Mansion. We had Darnell's, Tiny Wrights. I'm sure there's a couple more because one day I listed them all. But anyway, we would go in the store and just hang out just all day. And when we got tired of one, we would go to another. So anyway, that my amusement with music stores goes back to then.
Right.
And when I got the first opportunity to work in one, my good friend Jamie Hess said, gave me that opportunity when I was around 20. And so I went to work at the Music Center, and and the drum shop was up top, drum department.
Okay.
And I got it. It was just me up there. They put me up there, and I worked maybe, I think, Friday nights and maybe some Saturdays. And that's where I started. I looked around, I was by myself, and I would say, this would look cool if I could rearrange these drum sets, and then the owner would say, hey, Rick, I really liked what you did up with those drum sets, And then I would start talking to people when they came in. And one thing led to another, and I started to see things that were wrong with it. And no diss to the owner there. That's how music stores were then. There wasn't really full-fledged drum shops.
Yeah, the specialty shop idea hadn't been super thought out.
No.
It was we deal with music. We're a music shop, which means we'll cover all of this to some degree.
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
Right.
And then depending on what the owner's expertise was, that's sort of
that's where it leaned.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And it's a little bit that way still. But, now there's no music stores around, right? There's 3. There's Guitar Center, and that's not really a music store, is it?
For the time being,
then, there's Drums, etc., and then there's a guitar place across down the road. And that's what we got. And we went from 12 music stores that I could just pop off to this, And so that's where we are now. And so this is so personable. If you want to be a music store rat now, you're going to come to Drums, etc. That's where all the rats are. And anyway, that's how I got interested in all of it. And of course, I was a drummer, and I love drums. I really thought that I was going to be like a rock star, like most teenage kids. I thought that was where I was headed.
That was the goal. That was the dream. Was to be a drummer in a band. Yeah.
But I found my other niche, which was I still got to be in the drum business, but it happened to be retail. So that was a great avenue to go down. I went the retail, and I play an awful lot too.
Yeah.
So I've carved out a nice niche in my life doing that. It was fun, and as you mentioned, we did it for 35 years. And I just got to tell this quick. I got 1,000 stories, but I don't even know where to begin. But I'm going to begin with this one.
Go ahead.
The one I met you. When I met Adam, the conversation was something like, I think he came in on a school project, and he said, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you wanted to do what's it called, like an internship or something like that. So
there were 2 things. The first time I talked to you was a school project where we had to find a business or whatever. And I was like, the drum shop, I'm going to go. And I actually filmed a little fake commercial So that's the
Okay.
first time. That's the first time I talked with you. And
All
I
right.
remember showing up for that. Just real quick, I remember showing up for that, and I was all excited because I was gonna like interview you for that. And here we are. Here I am interviewing you.
Look
But
at that.
I like part of that was like, oh, maybe I could interview the owner. And I showed up, and this was my first taste of what it's like to be a business owner. And you were out front, hanging off a step stool, barely able to reach you were painting the front windows, and just covered in sweat. And just like in the middle of it, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're that," and you're like, "Yeah, go in there. You don't want me on camera anyway. You know what I mean? Let the young guys do it."
Let's talk
Yeah.
to Sean in
Yeah,
there.
exactly. So that was the first time, and then fast forward a few years later, then I showed up and said, "Hey, I want to do this."
That's the
and
part
I want
I
to
really
shadow.
remember.
I said shadowing because that's what I think Sean mentioned that term to me, and I was like,
Yeah.
that I want to do that. Can I have Rick's info? And that's how we connected. Yeah.
We had numerous shadowers through the years. I always supported those kids. Always, give them a chance, come in, and then we would not ignore them. All the guys in the store would take part in showing them a part of the process and how we do things. And then many times I would take them to lunch. We would just walk over to McDonald's and get a sandwich and, really take an interest and give them a good day, give them a good experience. But I remember specifically you saying, do you care if I come here every Thursday?
Yep.
And I said, no one's ever asked me that. Well, yeah, sure. Go ahead, kid. Go ahead. I thought that's going to last 3 weeks and he's going to be gone.
Right.
So, like months go by. You are there every single Thursday. You were with Rustin. You befriended Rustin. I remember that, our guitar guy at the time. And well, guess who? Guess when we needed an employee, who do you think's the first guy we're going to hire? The guy that knows all the systems, and has been there free on his own will for all those Thursdays. It was an easy pick, right? And so that's how we kind of got this stage.
It worked out. I'm happy. I'm very happy.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It worked out. But no,
I
I appreciate that. And now I've had a few kids come in, and it's very full circle for me because I've had folks come in and for school projects or this or that and shadow. And I'm like, yes, I love that.
Paying it forward.
Right. But I'm kind of side-eyeing him. I'm like, you're gunning for my job, aren't you?
Right.
No, I'm just joking. But I love being able to pay that forward. But back to your where you were at. You went on a side tangent.
Okay. Well, I don't know where I was at, but I did bring a prop today, and I got to show you. It's a good way to go into it right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay?
Let's do it.
Who's this, Carrot Top?
Before we were talking about Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Always knew
I am
that's the kind of conversation.
With it. I am obsessed with it.
Yeah.
From now on, it's going to be what this happened before ChatGPT and what happened after. Okay?
I got
It's
it.
like black and white TV, color TV,
The internet.
the internet, Google, ChatGPT. Okay?
Yeah.
It's a new day.
Yep,
Anyway,
I understand.
1985. I don't know what the song was that year, but it was probably Madonna and Bon Jovi kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
My first telephone for drums, etc.,
Whoa.
on opening day, June 17th, 1985, was this.
There it is.
And look, the cord does not even come out of it. This lays on the counter like this, and then you plug it into the wall. So you're not going any further than that.
That's it. You got what, 4 feet? Yeah.
This phone did so much business the first 5 years.
Yeah.
That takes you by surprise, right?
That's it.
5 years.
5 years.
Yes, because there was no development.
That's it.
The only thing that was better than this was a big thing that you walked around your house that looked similar to this, but I couldn't afford that. We had no customers. I put this in the wall and it works fine, right?
Yep.
What's funny, there's an on and off switch. I can guarantee you I never turned this off in
Nope.
5 years, okay? A lot of business
it.
was done here. There was no internet. I started a mail order catalog in like around 87.
Okay.
Someone told me about drop shipping.
Yeah.
A rep came in and said, drop ship. I said, what's that mean? He said, well, first of all, you give us money, and then if you want to ship a symbol to someone, we'll just do it for you. What? You mean you'll ship it anywhere? Yeah, we'll do it for you. Oh, all right. So I started doing that. I sent out a postcard.
Mm-hmm.
Then I made a big postcard.
Okay.
And I made, I think, 5 or 10,000 of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I did a test first.
Yeah.
And I made, I sold,
Locally? You just distribute them locally?
No.
Okay.
How did I get that list? I don't remember how I got the list.
I remember.
Oh, I had an ad in Modern Drummer magazine.
Got it.
Ad in Modern Drummer magazine. Get symbols for, huge discount or something. And so when that hit, I'm like, I'm going to go in now. So I bought 5 or 10,000 of these brochures. They were like 2 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent them out. And this thing was ringing off the hook, man. And I am talking, unlike today, I'm talking to everybody across the United States, and I'm not used to people across the United States. So I'm talking to this guy from Yonkers. Rick, this is Chad from Yonkers. Where's my symbol, man? I ordered the symbol 3 weeks ago, and I don't have my symbol yet.
Yep.
Well, back then, 3 weeks was good time, to get something.
Oh, yeah. Now if it's not there the next day, man.
3 weeks was okay,
Yeah.
And then I talked to someone down south. Hey, Rick, it's Chad. Hey, how's it going, man?
Yeah.
Hey, we want to get that symbol for me now, and then so I got to learn all these dialects across the. And
it's a lesson it's kind of one of those culture shock moments because you're now experiencing the country.
Yeah, it was.
But it could one call after the next could be from anywhere.
Yeah, and you talked to every single customer back then.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one. And in a way, it was good because you could develop your relationship with them.
Right. You have that impression.
Yeah, you made friends with them, and then they were your friend, and they're confident. They would trust you. And they knew you knew your first name, and it's harder to do that now.
Yeah.
It's harder to do that online. You can do it to a certain point. I mean, the people here do. Yeah. They make friends, and but it was easier to do back then on the phone. So many things were easier back then, and so many things are easier now. Hey, one more thing about that phone.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
When I looked for the phone, I said, I got to take this in too.
Yeah.
This was my
I'm so glad you kept this.
This was my first cell phone.
There it
Look,
is.
How old am I, right? Brownie, we're surrounded. Yeah, look at that thing, man. It's got a belt clip here.
Of course it's got a belt clip.
And the only phones I've seen older than this I have some older friends that had a battery pack that they actually had to carry around with them, but look at a battery on that sucker. I love that. Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you brought those things.
Yeah.
Just to give a little context to the time period we're talking about.
Yeah, 1985. We weren't there was no internet whatsoever. I did not even think about it. The first computer I bought was like 1990, and it told the time, I think. That was it. And yet, as we kind of had an industrial revolution of drums. In 1985, I mean, there was also one in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, sure.
The 3 big Slingerland, Ludwig, Rogers.
Yeah.
That was their
heyday. That, of course.
And that was huge.
Yeah, it's still carrying over today because of how big it was. Yeah.
But in 1985 to 1999, those 15 years, man, so much stuff happened. I mean, every single week there was something coming out, and parts were being made, and accessories and pedals, and everything was being improved, and cymbals were being improved, and the selections got so big, and we were in the middle of all that, and it was such a great time to have a music store.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where when you're in the middle of an era of such progress, that then it's hard to navigate what's, like we were talking about the Chat GPT thing, and like it's hard to navigate what's really a trend and what's gonna stick. And we talk about that, in our shop talks and stuff. Like, hey, I keep seeing this, man. Should we jump on it? And it's like we want to be cutting edge, but at the same time, you don't want to, overstep.
Yeah.
Go back to that one too many times. We always talk about that because it's one of those things. Then you're stuck with yesterday's fad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So during that time, and I kind of want to tie it into industry stuff a little bit because I know there are a lot of fans of that when we talk about that kind of thing and dig into that. When you were starting out, I've mentioned on the show before that we have over 40 companies that we get things from now and vendors. And a lot of them would only look at me because of the history they had with you. And you had to establish all those relationships. What was that like getting started carrying product? Was it just a phone call to a buddy, or was there all of this, no, we're going to look at your credit history and do this and do that, due diligence?
Yeah, it was a little of everything. I had a good reference sometimes, or I would just make a cold call and say, for example, how some. Well, let me start this way. Mm-hmm. When I first got a music store, like imagine going out to the mall. Imagine going to Boscov's.
Yeah.
And you want to start a store, and you look at, you're like, how do they get all this stuff, right? Where do you begin, right?
Where do you start?
When you get a music store, are you ever wondering, how do you get all this stuff? Well, my friend in the same band I played in, Matt Creeder Music in Jonestown, Pennsylvania. He's still there. Mm-hmm. We're in the same band. 3 months go by. I said, "Hey, Matt, I think I'd like to do a store," because he had one, and he goes, "Come on up to my store. I'll show you how to get the stuff."
There it is.
That's it.
That's it. Wow. I always wondered that.
The rest is history.
You had a friend who did it.
Yeah, I had.
No one knows how it ever started. It was just word of mouth.
Where do you think you get the stuff? I'm asking the fans out there, huh?
Yeah.
Where do you think you get all the stuff? Well, I'll tell you, there are middle people who deal with the manufacturers who have all the stuff, and they will let you buy the stuff for a small profit for them. And then you get to buy this as much stuff or as much stuff as you need. You can pick. It's like picking in a catalog. You can do it. That's how it's done. All right. Now, there's qualifying. You have to promise them that you're going to buy a lot of stuff from them, and you have to spend a lot of money.
Yep.
And so that's where it gets. You have to promise that you're going to spend money with them, and depending on how the economy is or what year it is 1985 or is it 2023, all of those specifications change. And as you have talked about in your other shows, mm-hmm. It's different now than it was 3 years ago, and so on and so on. When I first started, our first dealership, I think, was Premier. That was the one I went for because the big ones, were taken, and they didn't want to talk to me. I wasn't doing the numbers, so they didn't want to talk to me. So I got Premier, and I remember Ludwig said, if you want us to, you're going to need to take 12 drum sets right now, and then, you're going to have to buy some of so much of our hardware, and then, by the year end, you need to do 24 sets, and that's how.
Yeah, that was your first big offer that came to you.
Yes. And usually it was a dozen sets, and at minimum. Mm-hmm. And so on. And then it changed as years went on. Dale's Drum Shop in Harrisburg was, I had friended Dale from going into a store before I had a store. And Dale helped us get started. He gave us stuff. He was already, you know, a Tama dealer and a Pearl dealer and a Simmons dealer. And he would give me some stuff to help me get started. So I was just trying anything I could.
Yeah.
You know, just
to
reaching,
scrap together a store.
Scrapping stuff
I've heard
out.
early stories of you putting your own stuff on the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to make it look bigger. You know, I didn't have enough stuff. I started out with 10 grand. I couldn't use all 10 grand. I had to have working capital.
Of course. Yeah.
So I only spent 7, you know, or a little over 7. And out of that 7, I had to build stuff and I had to buy a phone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't have anything.
That's
why I had
starting
this
off with a
phone,
store.
you know?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And I remember I have a picture somewhere of I had a 22-inch Humenberg cymbal case, and I put it on the wall like this because I had a cowbell
Yeah.
and a couple other things, but I knew if I put that up there, it would fill
the wall.
It would fill the wall and look better.
Yeah.
So I was always on that. I also had a black and white TV, and I was one of the first people around to have instructional videos. And the first 3 we had was Louis Belson, Steve Gadd, and can't think of the other one. Can't think of the third one. That's a shame. Terry Bozzio, I think. Anyway, I had this thing called, back then, you remember video stores, of course. Well, they were brand new in 1985. We had a store in Lancaster called Video 54. It was spun off of Studio 54 in New York.
Okay.
Video 54. It cost $54 to join it.
Okay.
And for the luxury of renting their videotapes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I said, I'm going to do that.
Perfect.
I have 3 videotapes. I bought a video player. It was called Video Pal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I rented the video machine and the 3 tapes as a special deal.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Drummers would come in and go, wow, you have that, you know, videotape. And this is all new.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay. I would rent the videos.
They'd rent it from you.
And the machine.
And the machine.
Now, when they did that, I couldn't run it in my store because that's all I had. But when they bring it back, I would run it on the TV
Exactly.
time. And I had a cassette tape that had something on it. I think it was sounds it was a library list of what Simmons drum chip you could buy.
Okay.
So I had this whole rap. And what I would do is wait. I would do this rap to someone. Mm-hmm. Oh, have you seen the Simmons drum? Well, of course you haven't, but we have it. And I would play it, and it would be like glass cracking or someone going, ooh, you know?
Yeah.
And that was new.
Yeah.
They liked that.
Yeah.
So I go, not only can you do that, but here's a library, and I would play the whole cassette of all the tape, of all the sounds that you could hear.
Yeah.
And when they would leave, I would rewind the tape.
Yep.
And I would set
Get it
everything
all
back
ready.
up, and I wait there for the next person, you know? And
Yep.
it could be hours. It could be a day.
But you were primed.
I was ready to do
with
it
your
each
pitch.
time. Yeah.
Wow.
That's good stuff.
That is good stuff.
We still do it, right?
Yeah.
Don't we still set the stage? Don't you?
Of course.
Yeah.
There's certain things that it's like okay, that, you know, if this gets brought up, and it's for the benefit of the customer they ask about this, we're ready with not only this information, but we've got this, and this, and then before you even ask your question, here's the answer.
Yeah. Right.
Try to answer everyone's questions before they even have to ask, and you're good to go. And that's what folks look for in a local drum shop, is they want that expertise.
Yeah.
They can Google it, but the questions that they have, like we were talking about earlier, like our quick questions, are not easily found.
Yeah.
And you might find 100 different answers.
They're personalized.
Very specific.
Personalized. You can't get that personalized.
Yep. Very specific to
Hey, you know what I
what's
used
going
to
on.
say about, you were talking about the cymbal thing. When someone goes, when they look at the cymbal display and they go, wow, what's the difference? I used to say, if you don't know the difference, just get the cheapest one. Because why should you spend $400 if you don't know the difference, you know?
That's a good answer,
Get
actually.
the cheapest one, then. It's not
Just
going to
get
make
the
any
cheap ones.
difference.
If it doesn't make a difference to you.
Because they don't know. You know, you hit a $400 cymbal. You could hit a $50 cymbal, And if you said to them, "Hear that? That sounds good," right? No one would ever do that.
Right, of course
but,
not.
But I'm saying they don't know.
Hypothetically, especially the customer that's just starting out or just looking, they don't
should
have
buy with your ears.
Exactly. And you don't start out with your ear being developed. I talked to someone yesterday. Sean and I were talking to them. They were looking at their first drum set, and immediately, like the father of the kid who was very lucky to have his parents be willing to start the conversation of getting a drum set. I think I'll end up with a kit. But his dad immediately asked, I showed him the kits, and he asked about all the brands, and I had that conversation of what drum set's best, that quick question, that whole thing we went through. Yeah. And then immediately he's asking about the cymbals and like what cymbal to get, and he goes into all these details of something that he read online.
Right.
And it's like you dove in before you even got your feet wet. Right. You know what I mean? And it's going to be overwhelming. What you need to do is start out with this and hear the reasons why, and then he's gonna buy a cymbal.
Right.
He's gonna buy a cymbal because he's the one playing, and there are so many different. He's gonna play this drum set, and he might say these hi-hats are the first thing I need to be replaced. He might say this bass pedal's got to be replaced. He might say the cymbal, but it's up to the drummer, and that only comes with, practicing, playing, and experience. You know what I mean? You don't worry about what cymbals you need to upgrade to until you find that your cymbals, you hear something off about them. It's all sound driven.
And don't worry about the price or how much process they put into them. I mean, they're selling cymbals that sound like trash can lids for $300. It's all relative to your ear. Mm-hmm. We used to have this really great guy, Clyde Lucas, a great drummer, teacher in Lancaster. He died now, but he was a great guy, and revered by all the locals, and more. But he would come into the cymbal room, and he would hit a camber cymbal. That used to be a lower end, beginner entry level cymbal. Right. He didn't go, "Yeah, I'll take that." He didn't care. He liked it. He liked that sound, and he imagined that sound on his drum set and how he would do that. And this is a good drummer. This is a really smoking great drummer. Yeah. And he didn't care about all that stuff. I think that's
and
admirable.
We try to encourage folks to do that. We do blind tests of things.
Way more. I love that.
The blind test is my favorite. Stand behind.
I have
the wall,
not seen this.
Stand over
do
here.
You have this on? Do you have blind tests on?
Yeah, the last blind test that we did was when we had the UFIP cymbal tour here. We did UFIP versus Zildjian. Ignore the name. Ignore the the legacy.
Tough.
Go behind. We have that half wall up there. Go behind the half wall. Hit one cymbal. Hit the other. Pick your favorite sounding cymbal.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you which is which. Just use your ear. And we did it about 10 times. I think 9 out of 10 were the UFIP over the Zildjian.
Really? Yeah.
And it's just, if you're following your ears, you ignore all that stuff.
Yeah.
You just ignore all that stuff and focus on what's important. And I would love to be able to see if somehow there was this, if you put in your ideal sounds, if there was a machine or some sort of program where you could click of a button, see what your ideal setup would actually be. And I would love to see the people who are playing drums that cost this much and are up here. And it says, you don't care about drums. You're using the entry-level drums. And you spend a lot on your hi-hats, but your ride cymbal's a camber cymbal. Yeah. That's your ideal sound. I wish there was that technology because if you follow your ears, you'll end up with a lot of different results. But
GPT. Just ask GPT.
That's what I'm saying. We're really plugging that. We're waiting for the next.
It's amazing, folks.
It's crazy.
You need to get out there. It's this week, right? In history, it's this week that they this past week they unveiled that. All right, that's going to be it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Okay.
So moving forward, Queen Street is the next avenue. Plum Street. What are we looking at square footage wise?
605 North Plum Street. I got it for $150 a month rent because it had no heat. So.
Wow.
But
okay.
I knew about space heaters. We had space heaters in 1985.
Not a problem.
And my family used them. So, not a big deal. Had a bathroom. So,
huge.
Had a bathroom. I built a drum room, like a drum studio and behind the counter.
Okay.
Framed that up, insulated it, started teaching right away back there. And John Pfeiffer, who still teaches at your store here.
He's teaching right now.
Was if not the first teacher, one of the first at drums, etc. I think he might have been the first. And we started teaching right away there, and that was 1,000 square feet. I doubt if it was. I bet it was 800.
Yeah.
I think I rounded it up to make it
To
sound
make
like
it sound more
1,000.
grand.
We rented out Fog Machine every weekend. I have a picture of the sign. It says Fog Machine, $25.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
That's
Fog Machine.
yeah, and it's funny because I was talking with Roger the other day. Roger Roger Lee, who was there your opening day. He showed up before you were open.
Oh my God.
And it was like, oh, they're not open yet. Oh, okay. And then went around the block. He wasn't your first customer. He wasn't your first customer. He didn't make the first purchase, but he was technically there right before you opened. Came back the first day, and I was talking to him about what the first shop was like. So I was telling him that we're gonna probably end up digging into things. And
Interesting.
And when I see those pictures from that first store, and I see the smoke, half the time I'm like, is it cigarette smoke and the whole place is, or is it a fog machine? Because I knew both were happening at that time.
It was both.
Okay.
Yes, smoking was still cool to do in the stores in 1985. We had an ashtray there, and I was a big smoker, and 90% of my customers were too. And we would smoke all day, and then by nighttime, luckily the ceilings were high. They were like 12-foot high ceilings, and there would be this haze, like land at the top at night. It would choke you. We didn't stop smoking in the store until 1990, I think.
Wow.
That's when we made the.
You said, all right.
Maybe we shouldn't do this, because I think they stopped smoking at the mall then or something.
That was status
Something
quo.
triggered.
Yeah.
You were still smoking in restaurants then, in the back, like that did anything.
Yep.
So no one really complained about it. But yeah, we did not run the fog in the store normally.
Right.
We didn't do that. It was that smoke that
That's
you would
a
see
lot.
would be.
It's intense. That's what I was talking about. And I remember seeing the last picture that you posted. I saw the fog machine picture. And I was like, wait a minute.
That was the fog machine. That one,
this is a lot. This is definitely fog machine. This is the
Yeah.
staged photo. But I love seeing pictures of that. We were talking about this. If you can get me some of the old pictures through the eras, I'd love to put that out on our social now.
Oh yeah.
So that people can see that and see, the through the years, the drum shop, because we have so many amazing long-term customers.
Yes, they're still coming in, like Roger.
Yep, they're still coming in, exactly. And I love to just put that out there, long lost pictures. And I love when you've got pictures of them or their kits, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because then you're just like, well, you look a little different. What happened to all that hair? Like I love that grilling conversation. I love having that discussion. So that would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, then we moved to Queen Street.
Yes.
That's what you're going to say.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. From 605 North Plum Street, 8 to 1,000 square feet, no heat, went to Queen Street. I bought Tony Mariani's music store, a shop, the space from Tony Mariani. And along with that, that's where my sort of my real estate venture started to cultivate, because above Tony Mariani's store there were 7 apartments, and there was also a pizza shop next door, and the 7 apartments pizza. So we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So I got that from Tony on a handshake too, and that now the place was like completely destroyed. So I think he was really happy that I was taking it over.
Yeah.
But still, like I remember him coming in the store and he said, "Hey Rick," he said, "I just wanted to take a look at you and get to know you." He says, "I think it's going to be okay." We shook hands, and then that was that. Made that spot our own. That was about 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
We made
You doubled your space.
double space, put 2 teaching studios downstairs.
Okay.
Our music lessons started at Plum Street at I don't really remember exactly, but they were under $10.
Okay.
And then by the time we were at leaving Queen Street, they were 13, and we still had that
The
sign.
chalkboard, we
the
still have it.
chalkboard,
Yep.
$13, you know. And it's about halfway through. I was there for 10 years, and that was during that whole drum industrial revolution, man. And it was just mayhem of local customers.
gonna say
It's
in
before
store.
internet.
Yeah.
Still before internet. For 1990 to 99, we had a great drum shop, and everyone was
Walk-in
just
customers
the only
and,
place
and,
to go.
and mail order.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, mail order and we answered the phone, and we had catalogs and no computer yet. So I earmarked all of our catalogs, and we kept it by the phone. And then when someone Sean will remember this because we did it for years, even after computers, you know, we were computerized.
Yep.
And you would answer the phone, yes, and we would quick get to these places in the catalog, and we would get it, and we would make the sale, and we'd have to handwrite it out on a sheet,
Yep.
and then we would ask for their card number, and then we would run their card on a machine, and we would do all this thing and say, okay, you know, it'll be there, you know, in 7 days or something. And again, no one cared
Yep.
that it was 7 days.
Yep. Of course.
And that's how we processed orders for 15 years. And we were highly successful at it.
Yeah, you were killing it. Those are
Yeah.
like you said, those are the heydays, man. That is like,
Yeah.
that's great.
I met Sean at Queen Street. He was a kid, and he was taking lessons there. And he had long blonde, like colored hair. He had
Oh, yeah.
hair all different, like skaterish guy.
There's always he's had many generations of hair, but
Yeah.
that is long hair, Sean.
Skinny.
Yeah.
I always
Was
thought I talked to him, but he you know, he to me wasn't really all that outgoing at that point. Not that I remember, but he
Yeah.
was a nice guy.
Yeah.
And he had a problem with a pedal. He had a problem with a pearl pedal, and we had replaced a part on it a couple times,
Yeah.
and it kept breaking. And Sean, he's like, I don't know how old he was. Maybe how old were you, Sean?
16, 17?
16 or 17. He's paying for this out of his own pocket. He's getting ticked. One day I'm in the office. One of the employees comes back and says, Rick, Sean's out there again, and he's mad. He lost, you know, this is broken for the third time,
Yeah.
and he's like really mad, and he's, you know, ready to.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. So I am so fed up because I have other things to do, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right. I went right out there and
Charged
I said,
out.
Sean, give me that pedal. You pick any pedal you want. Just pick any pedal you want. Isn't that how it went? Something like that.
Exactly how it
And Sean picked out another pedal, and that's how we met. And after that,
Yeah.
I pretty much seeing him then is kind of like what cemented our relationship. And then later on, I'm not sure even how we got together, Sean. How was that?
Well, I can say
To work
that,
here.
I still own that pedal.
Still got the pedal.
That was at on Queen Street. That was right-
Tama Iron Cobra.
Tama Iron Cobra. I played it this morning. I literally
He
used
played his Tama Iron Cobra this morning
it this morning,
from 1990.
1999. Yeah,
Game changer.
yeah.
Yep.
And I can say that how we got together was I started coming in for drum lessons on New Holland Avenue before the shop opened.
He took drum lessons
So
on New
you
Holland
allowed
Avenue.
Brock
Brock.
to come in,
Yes,
still make a living,
that's it.
and I took drum lessons in every room on New
Before the
Holland
shop was done.
Avenue. In the basement, in
Yeah.
the kitchen apartment, in your office,
Yes.
in the attic before the studios were done. So you got to know me coming in, continuing drum lessons,
Right.
and you and I got to talking, and I think you may have asked Brock about me and said, hey, do you think maybe Sean would want to work here part-time?
Right.
And Brock asked me,
Started part time.
and I said,
You were around.
The
You
rest
were
is
around.
history, folks.
The rest is history. So yeah, on Queen Street, that is wild. I mean, it's not wild to think about, but it's kind of amazing. Like that heyday, you were in, you were on Queen Street and like you were in the middle of things. You know what I mean? How important was it, that location, do you think,
Well,
for locals?
I think it was absolutely a good move. However, as times changed, the next step, I saw, as you know, many of our customers live in the suburbs. The majority of our customers live on the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
They don't live in the city. We were in the city.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't go down into the city unless they need to. Luckily, we were a destination store, so they were coming into the city.
Yeah.
But man, I would see, soccer moms come up to a parking space and just panic, and just drive on
Yeah.
because they didn't want to parallel park because
Right.
traffic was behind
Yeah,
them and they
it's
were
too
freaking
much.
out.
Yeah.
And then I would call people and or talk to people on the phone and they would say, we're really far away, and they'd be from Lidditz, which is about 5 miles outside.
Yeah, exactly.
town.
You're not far
Well,
away.
we're from Lidditz. I don't know. So
Yeah.
when we were able to get out of town and get to the next stage where there was a parking lot, that was the game changer.
That was the game changer.
For the local walk-in people.
Right.
That was a game changer. So being downtown
Yep.
I felt great. We were in it. We had great years there, sales-wise.
Right. I just
think
wondered
the best,
the
actually.
best. Okay. Because I was curious because I knew it was hopping. I just wondered how much of the location because we were talking about moving and doing different things like that. Obviously, the location came along with that purchase and everything.
Yeah.
I just wondered. I wondered that because folks still talk about the Queen Street location.
Huh.
And I just saw actually the other day the building directly, if you're facing the old Drums Etc. building to the right, is for sale. And I joked with Sean. I was like, hey man, maybe we move back to Queen Street. You know what I mean? And I was just
Yeah.
like, I can't see like so many of our like customers, sure, but also like our regular lessons now,
Yeah.
and students and parents and stuff
Yeah.
are more this way, more Lidditz way.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't imagine
No.
moving downtown.
No.
And that was the first thing I said was parking. I said parking was a nightmare down
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Just the teachers and employees.
Yeah.
That parking alone is tough. And that was before internet, so people were still accustomed to driving to go to specialty shops. And
Right.
imagine now, they're not doing it.
No.
No, I've parallel park downtown or order it online.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's-
It loses every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, look at this, and I was like, never mind.
yeah.
But eventually, yeah, let's dive into the Sean era. So
The Sean era.
we transitioned from Queen Street to New Holland. Now that used to be Martin's Appliance, right?
Yeah.
Right? Directly. I mean, I'm sure it was a bunch of different things because there's very historic buildings. It used to be Martin's
Oh.
Appliance directly before you moved in, right?
Well, yes. Now,
Okay.
let's just back up a second. I
go
was
ahead.
into building a website. Okay?
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. See, I was you now back then, where I was taking this stuff head on.
Yeah.
While other business owners were not even considering that, I'm like, you know what? I think this internet thing's going to be big, and I'm going to be part of it. Just like the catalog, I thought, this is the next stage,
Yeah.
so I'm going to do it. Hired this company called Trick Digital. It was Mike Clark. If he's watching this, you're not gonna forgive me. I can't think of his name. Shoot. Anyway, Trick Digital.
Yeah.
Gosh, my first website was like 25 or 30 grand. And,
Wow.
And it
When was this? What year? This was
1998.
Okay.
That's when we started it.
Yep.
1999-ish, in there. Finished it, got on board, and that's also when we had our best sales years in my history. So then I wanted to expand, And so I asked a realtor to help me. And every day on the way into work, I passed the New Holland Avenue store, and I would look at it. And when I would explain to the realtor what I was looking for, I would say, I would like a small amount of parking because that's very important to having a local store. I said,
Right.
something like that Martin's Appliance building, and then he would say something, and I'd say, I'd really like some nice big showroom windows, because I really love my displays, and I want to put them out there. Something like the Martin's Appliance building. You've seen that. And I kept referring to it.
Yeah.
One day I'm coming to work, and there was a big sign in their yard, for sale. Man, I was on that.
Yeah. Anything you can possibly do, that's it. That's the spot.
It was there. I bought it from Mr. Martin in 1999, and then I rehabbed it myself. No, not just myself. Barry Salem worked for us, so we would keep some of the crew over at Queen Street to do it, and then I would ask them to come over and help me build over there.
Yeah.
So Barry Donlin helped me, and Barry Salem helped me, and some other people.
Yeah.
We did that all day long. I worked.
Yeah. What did it, for folks that know what the New Holland Avenue store looked like, what was there, what wasn't there?
It wasn't.
I knew you said it was pretty much an empty shell.
It was 6,000 square feet.
Okay.
And it was a mess inside, but it not like a crack house kind of way, but it was just, the old appliance store that was there for 20 years moved out, and they just left it.
They left it how it was. Yeah.
So we just had to do our own thing and
Fix it up.
put some, fix it up the best we could. We did it ourselves, and it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I met reps over there. Instead of at the old store, I would have them come over there, and we would meet and talk there, and get really excited about that place. And it was fun. It was a superstore, man. It was fun.
Right.
I don't think back then Shock and Awe was really popular.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Shock and Awe is now. I thought about this. The grocery store Wegmans?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Wegmans or Wedgemans?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Wegmans. Yeah.
Wegmans. All right. There's a little imported food shop in Lancaster called Mandros's Imported Foods.
Okay.
It's 1,000 square feet, and they had the best meats and cheeses like you will ever taste in your life. It is good stuff. All right?
Yeah. Okay.
I noticed. I've been in Wegmans a few times. I went in there. They have some of the same stuff. All right. I do not want to go in Wegmans and get that. Why would I? Yeah. I go to Mandros's, man. When you go in there, you smell it. And Billy comes out and says, "Ricky, it's good to see you." And then I say, I just call Billy. I'm coming in. Make me, get me a bag of stuff together. And he just does it.
Yeah.
Like Wegmans, you don't get that. Shock and Awe. I don't want a grocery store that's Shock and Awe. I don't want, and I don't think people want a music store that's that way anymore. I think the way this is here, boutique, when you're coming in here that it's like hand-picked stuff.
Yeah.
And it's going to be good, and they're going to know your name.
Absolutely. It's
I'm not just trying to plug the store.
I understand what you're saying.
That's honestly how I think a lot of people feel.
It's definitely a trend. It is developing good relationships with people, of course, is number one priority. But the concept of a curated collection is huge. That's
way better.
Way better than. But at the time that you moved to New Holland, it was massive.
No.
Shock and Awe.
Yeah.
Lights on everything.
Yeah. No
as
one
many
has ever
as possible.
seen that
more.
As many as possible.
As many as possible.
Yes. We had a cymbal room. Damn it.
A whole room. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. That's where it was.
Yeah.
Everything was lots of it, and the internet killed that. The
internet doesn't care if you have a cymbal room.
The internet does not care. You can have the biggest stores you want, but there's more on the internet. There's 10 times more on the internet than any store you're going to have. Wow.
Yeah, and it's a balance. It is a necessity nowadays to have that online presence in addition to in store.
In addition.
And I love to be able to blend the two, because I think that having a warehouse full of cymbals is the most disturbing, sad thing on the planet.
Oh,
having a
money.
drum shop and all the well, yeah, that too. But
Tied up.
I'm just saying that business model versus having this and having everything feed off of each other and having the community and having the drum shop talk like we're talking about.
Yeah.
And having that interaction. That's what you want. You know what I mean? And that's my
the
priority.
romance of it. That's the romance of it.
Of course, and it's a huge priority for me to have like community first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And developing those relationships is worth so much more than anything.
You know what though? It's like it's a hard road though.
Yeah.
It's a hard road. Like like the guys here are so nice and other stores too,
Yeah.
Other stores across America. Your local music store people are so nice, and they're trying to make a good business and get sales and to make it happen. But it's like gravity. It's like always, you're starting over,
Yep.
Please come in our store, and that does drag you down. I mean, it takes your energy away, when you're trying to do right
Yep.
by people and get that community aspect through. It's not so easy to make that happen in today's world. And
Yeah. But the important
bummer.
thing is that it's the fight worth fighting. It's the fight that you fought.
You do
I'm in it.
You're fighting.
We're
it.
making it happen, and it's one of those things that the investment and the payoff is beyond worth any of the stress about it. But yeah, I appreciate that plug. I mean, now, running a small shop like this, it's one of those things that I value shopping differently. I have a different perspective on things, and it's one of those things that I hope, and I'm starting to see a shift. I hope that the shift back to brick and mortar, talking with someone, that is the value of that has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing but accentuated by the social channels and things like that. You know what I mean? So tons of the stuff that we're doing, videos. We're just taking feedback from people, just saying, "Hey, what's
Service.
up?" Yeah, So I can extend out through the internet and offer that to other people, and that's use that as a tool rather than something as a drawback. But yeah.
We were talking about teaching yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching's huge. I mean, I don't see that. I know some people have done some good, websites that, have teaching. And we, of course, tried Zoom teaching over the pandemic and all. But nothing I saw really matches anything, comes up to the quality of having, music lessons at the store. And I was always just such a fan of that. And you have it here, and that is irreplaceable. That is one of the greatest things about this shop too. Is the amount of students that come in here, and the way you're thinking about cultivating that, and that's a huge thing. I mean, I am really proud that you want to go down that road.
Absolutely.
Because that's all part of it. They're the drummers of tomorrow.
And it's always been synonymous. Yeah, I have no interest in sitting here and collecting money from any of the old guard until they all die. That is not. It is inspiring new people to pick up the sticks and continuing and helping them on their journey. That is just that's where it goes. That's where it goes. So New Holland Ave location. That's where Sean was already there, but
Sean's
he came into the picture.
Now, man. Oh,
Sean has begun his journey and legacy, which is continuing to grow. Eventually, tons of folks. We could sit here and name names of. You had a pretty extensive staff coming through there.
Yes.
6-7 people at one time, different part-timers coming in here, people filling in, teachers. Definitely
great stories.
Being that hub of helping drummers out when they need a job.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And connecting to the community. So much happened inside those walls.
Oh my God, so many stories. So many stories. I have a favorite story. I was hoping you were going to ask me my favorite story, so you didn't. I'm going to tell you my favorite story.
I just gave you the opportunity. I gave it. I just served it up.
Robert, I can't say his last name, was a prisoner in some penitentiary in the middle of Pennsylvania somewhere. He was doing 20 years hard time. He went in 1985. Okay? The year the store opened.
The year the store opened.
Robert went in then. In the mid-90s, I got a handwritten letter to Drums Etc. explained. It's 3 pages in perfect penmanship, no lined paper. It was unlined paper, perfect lines, 3 pages of it, no eraser marks. Hi, I am Robert, such and such. I'm in jail right now, but when I get out, I'm really interested in getting a drum set. And this is the drum set that I've always dreamed about. And I have your catalog, and I just wanted you to clarify a couple things for me, a couple prices.
Yeah.
So I looked at that letter and thought, I mean, I'm sorry, I was judgmental, okay? I was like, oh, I have to add this. He said, I'm not getting out till 2005.
Right. Your priority.
It's 1995.
And
I got a letter of someone who wants me
Yeah.
to work up prices for them for 10 years from now. I'm like, okay, whatever,
Yep.
you know. But I responded somehow. I don't remember how. 6 months later, I got another letter from him. Thank you. That was really nice. But what about this setup? 3 more pages.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh. So I I send it. 6 months later, 8 months, 9 months later.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. But what do you think about this? And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is funny. I'm showing it around to everybody. Do you believe this? Oh, I'm going to fill it out anyway, and I did it. 3 years later, hey, I just thought of another thing I want. This happens, okay, over the years.
Just continues.
Continues.
To grow. Yeah.
It's a long time. Now, 2003 comes. He says, hey, good news, Rick. I think I'm going to get out in 2004. No, so it's like 2001.
Yeah.
Okay. He goes, I'm going to get out in 2004. To him, 3 or 4 years from that date is like pretty close. To me, it's still ridiculous. Like, I'm making notes here for something that's happened 4 years later. I go, okay, all right. So 2003 comes. Hey, it's really starting to look good. Well, after all of that, I used to live above the store. People might not know there was an apartment above Drums Etc. And I lived there for a number of years. And the employees were always very nice about not bothering me in the apartment. You know, that was my personal space, so no one said anything.
Yeah.
But on this day, I don't know, it was around 2004-ish something. I thought it was Sean, but he says it wasn't him. It was one of the guys.
Yeah.
I'm in the shower in my house, and someone says, Rick, it's one of the guys. I put a towel around myself, and I go out, and I go, what? You know, they go, Robert, such and such is down in the store right now, and he wants his drum set, right?
Yeah. He's
I freaked
downstairs.
out, Adam. I got dressed as fast as I could, and I went down. Robert, I almost said his name. His mother drove from Florida all night to pick him up at the Pennsylvania Penitentiary at 9 in the morning. And by 10 o'clock, he was at our store waiting for it to open. He did 20 years.
Unbelievable.
And he wanted a drum set. You know, what would most people do when they come out of prison after 20 years? What would you want? A nice meal? Maybe get laid? I don't know.
And the first thing he did was come to the drum shop.
The first thing he wanted was his drum shop. And he came in the same clothes that he went into the prison in 1985, which now are 20 years, but, you know, they're tight on him. You know?
Yeah.
They're tight on him, and he has the big glasses, you know, that were who's Toto's drummer?
Jeff Beccaro.
He had the Jeff Beccaro glasses on, and a real tight T-shirt.
Yeah.
And he had never seen a charge machine. Yeah, he was amazed that we had a electronic charge machine, because when he went in, it was like chunk, you know.
Yep.
And he was swearing up a storm. Like it was effing this and effing that after everything. He was real, he was taking cigarette breaks. He just got out of prison an hour ago. And now he was coming in to get like a 9-piece Ludwig Classic, full hardware, 12 cymbals.
The whole shebang.
Cases.
Yeah. Yep.
This was over a $10,000 order.
Yeah, and you had already quoted him all this.
Yes.
You're on the hook now.
I'm so on the hook.
Yeah.
Not only did I quote him the price, I told him it would be ready for him when he got out. Because I never thought it would happen.
What?
And he came and he did. And they did the whole nut. Now I had he had picked the cymbals out and all this stuff, cases. He left with everything that day except the drums because I didn't have them.
Right.
So I sent them to him in Florida, and I never heard from him again. But that story will always resonate with me because that's the passion of drummers.
That is.
That is so
Full
incredibly.
Tilt. That's it, man.
Out
I
of
just
prison.
want to play the drums. First thing.
We asked him. You were there, right?
No, I wasn't.
You weren't there. We asked him what he did.
But Travis, I'll say this.
We had to ask what he did.
Oh,
Travis
jeez.
asked him what he did.
Travis asked.
And he
Well.
said he was a burglar.
He was a burglar.
He was a burglar. And then, of course, Travis said, "Were you good at it?"
And he said, apparently not.
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Oh, boy. Well, seems
All
like
right, Robert. I hope you have that 9-piece drum set still, and I hope you stayed out of jail and going down the right line now.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a great story. I'm so glad you shared that.
Yeah.
So eventually we all show up at New Holland Avenue location and are there for what? 20 years, right?
Yeah.
20 years.
Over 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Over 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, and then before those of you that don't know, we've since moved. We are now in Neffsville on Lidditz Pike, just down the street, only like 15 minutes away, but in a different location. But I want to just touch on 550 Lofts because you're here, and I want to talk about it a little bit. There is now the opportunity for folks who went to that drum shop for 20 years. I won't make this an infomercial.
Okay.
But it's just awesome.
Why not?
It's awesome to me that you can now live in the drum shop.
Yeah, the drum shop was
so cool.
Turned into 23 apartments and a commercial spot there. There's a little ice cream shop that's moving in there soon. And that was my dream for many years. I enjoyed investing in real estate. That has always been a thing that I've cultivated through the years.
And that started at Queen Street, right? When you took over the shop there?
Well, I did own a house before that. Quick about that. When the first 5 years of owning any business, it's tough to turn a profit. It doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. It's hard. And I couldn't either. I mean, it was slim pickings, and so I played every night. And you could back then. You could play 5-nighters, and I did. We did a lounge circuit. Every hotel had a nice lounge with a stage, and it was real popular for a band to play 5 or 6 nights a week. And you played usually from 9 to 1:30 or 10 to 2. And I did that every single night because I had a family. I had 2 kids, little kids, wife, and the store wasn't making money, so I had to do this. So I'm getting to the real estate.
Yeah.
I came home one late night. I was sitting up. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm watching TV, and Dave Delgado comes on. He's a get-rich-quick real estate infomercial type guy.
Gotcha.
He's got the people with Hawaiian shirts sitting in Hawaii who made it big, and of course they followed his plan, and so they're rich now.
And now they're rich.
And all he's asking me to do is send him $300, and I get the cassettes.
That's it.
Of how to do it.
$300.
That was a lot of money. That was my,
Yeah.
mortgage payment.
Yeah.
So back then.
Right.
So I did it. I scraped up that money. I said, you know what? I'm gonna make something of myself. I'm gonna do this, and I
learn how to do it.
Got the cassettes. I did the whole thing. I was going to go buy this property in Lancaster for, I thought I was going to get it for like $5,000 because it was a auction, and Dave Delgado said if you go to an auction and buy a property, it's going to be cheap. Yeah. Well, I get there and there's 50 people there bidding it up, and I lost, and it was a heartbreaker. Yeah. And what happened was a month later, the people that got that property could not get financing. And he knew that I really had my heart on that property. So the auctioneer called me and said, Rick, if you buy that property for the amount that these guys won on an auction, the owner said they will finance the whole thing for you and give it to you. I had to put some money down. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it, Yeah. And that's how I started that one property. So Dave Delgado, that thing did not pan out. But if it wasn't for Dave Delgado,
you wouldn't
I would have
even
never taken
had the courage
step.
to do it.
I wouldn't have had the courage. So
yeah,
that's my. I think everyone should take a risk.
Yeah, you need to just go for it.
Yeah, after I got that house, I was into it, and when I had the chance from Tony Mariani. Same thing. The place really needed fixed up, but I wasn't. I was fine with getting my hands dirty and trying to fix it up. I didn't really know any better. Sometimes that's good.
Yeah, and you just build on that experience too. Now you know a little bit more, and then you know a little bit more. Yeah. Same thing with the drum shop. Like you said, you got started, and you were just like not really sure how to do this, and your buddy told you to do this.
That's what you do when you have a small business. You figure it out. You impressed me. You didn't even know you did, but a couple days ago we were talking about finding making another space in the store. Yeah. And you looked at it and you're like, I can build that. And that. Yeah. I said, well, I was thinking that when you said it, I'm like, yeah, that's how I always felt.
Of course.
I can build that.
Yeah.
I don't need to worry about finding someone to build that. You can do it.
Yeah. And there's definitely, it's bizarre the amount of skills that I picked up from other things that have translated into this because once you just for anyone who wants to start a business, I mean, you do everything, you do everything. And if that means putting up a wall, that means putting up a wall. If that means painting the front window, like I saw you the first time I met you. Yeah. You were out front sweating your butt off, painting the front window, because it had to be done. And if you didn't do it, who was going to do it? And you're not going to pay someone to do it.
No, you can't. You don't have enough money.
So, exactly. So you just pick up things and learn things. But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that really affected me actually when you said that.
Yeah. You just
good for you.
Make it happen. Yeah. Just make it happen one way or the other.
Remember, I said, "What about the door?"
Yeah.
I thought he's going to chicken out in the door. You go, "Nope, I'll put the door on."
Done.
I said, "That's great.
Done.
Brilliant."
Yeah. Done. Figured out. That's it. That's the attitude you have to have. But now, because you figured it out, 550 Lofts has been made a reality.
I did not do that myself.
You didn't. I was going to say, and he put every nail in every board. No, you did not. No,
that was done.
But because of everything you built everything on top of each other and made it happen.
I'm really proud of that building. It's a beautiful building, but what the memories of the store, outweigh that. That was a great run over there, and moving over here is going to be another chapter, and there's always that goes on and on. So.
Yep.
It's what really became that was too big of a store. Just like I was saying about the Shock and Awe, it doesn't pay anymore to have that kind of real estate as a music store. At one time it did, but it doesn't now. It doesn't need to be that big.
Yeah.
You don't need 150 snare drums, You don't need 200 cymbals.
You're getting personal with the audience now. They're thinking, I don't need 200 cymbals.
Well,
I don't need no. But yeah, absolutely. And everything's going to continue and change. And if that era comes back around, just like things are circular, we're going to be the first ones to have a cathedral full of drums.
Do it, man.
We're going to be there because we're constantly changing and adapting to what's going on.
That is the name of the game. Adapting, being humble, taking risks.
Yep. That's it. Well, Good. Awesome. Thanks for being here.
This was a very, very nice interview. Thank you for asking me to come. Congratulations, and this is still a great team here, folks. Sean and Ryan and Adam here are second to none, and all the drum teachers here, the guitar teacher, Mark Ryan, awesome. The whole crew here is, from years back. It's the same crew. It's not new people. It's the old guard is here.
That's it.
The old new. Wait, the new old.
New old guard.
Old new guard.
Exactly.
It's a good guard.
It's a good guard.
I'm glad you keep me around.
Yeah. Well,
it's
important. Hey, none of us would be here without you, and we're all still going off of your sayings and your words of wisdom. So it's awesome having you here. But awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Here at Drum Key, if you want to contribute to the show, we do have a Discord, which is linked below, where you can type ideas, also comments on everything. We're going to clip this up, put it on social. So if you see anything that you like, if you have any ideas for future shows, just let us know, and we'll make it happen. As always, support your local drum shop. If you don't have a local drum shop, we'd be happy to adopt you. But thanks for watching, everyone.